Hi, friends. Welcome to Career Preparation in Family and Consumer Sciences, or career education programs, as you guys have it named because you are in our master's degree program. I want to introduce myself to you a little bit more and tell you more about this class before we get into kind of the bulk of everything that we're doing. So let's get started. This is one of a few quotes that we'll talk about this semester. I think that everything is really important to have discussions about, which means you guys may be interacting a lot, and I am going to interact with you since there are only two of you in this class right now. So one of the things that I think is actually really important is having love and empathy, and that's how we actually educate people. So we have to think about that love, that empathy that we have for people. That's why we're in helping people fields, and how that can change people more than education sometimes will. The other thing is that that may actually help in the education realm. So think through that, think about that a little bit, and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more in the future. So our agenda for today is to do a couple of introductions, and then we're going to talk about our syllabus and schedule for this semester. Just so you know, our final assignment for my in-person class is going to be due on December 2nd. That is before final exams actually start. It's our last day of class because our exam time is a terrible time. I think it's like 7:30 on a Friday night or something like that. So we are not going to have a full exam like some classes do. So the first thing we are going to talk about is my in-person class is actually going to be reading parts of this book called Redefining the Goal. And it is linked on your syllabus that I will put up, the actual PDF syllabus. If you want to read this book, you can, although it is not going to be as important for you as it is for my in-person students. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can actually get it for free using Kindle Unlimited, or I think it's $6.99 through Kindle and about $15 if you buy it just straight through Amazon. I like this book. It helps us think through how we are actually teaching students. However, it is through a lens. It was published in 2016. So it is through the lens of like 10 years ago. This is what we were talking to kids about, and this is what we found important. So part of what we're going to do in the in-person class is actually discuss how things have changed even in the last 10 years. And COVID's done some really interesting things. So this is called Redefining the Goal. It is by a guy named Kevin. I forget his last name off the top of my head. But if you can Google it and it will come right up if you would like to um, read this book as well. So for this week, we are going to do just some very short introductions. I have put a discussion board up for you guys to tell us. We would love to know your name, where you're originally from. So like if you're not from where you are living currently, tell us both of those things. What you're looking forward to this school year, what you like best about family and consumer sciences, it's one thing you would like to learn about in class this semester, which I know you don't have a lot of context for that yet. And that's why I asked this question. And then what you did over your summer vacation, if you had a summer vacation. I know some of us didn't. And then also one thing I added into the discussion board is for you to share a picture of yourself, if you would like to, so that your partner in this class knows what you look like. Sometimes it's good to put a face with the names. So I put that discussion board up. If you guys will answer those questions before Tuesday night, that would be awesome. So let me tell you a little bit about myself before we get started on everything else. So my name is Dr. Holland. I have met both of you in person and online through email and a whole bunch of other different kinds of conversations. But I'm originally, this is part of the reason I asked this question. I'm originally from Raleigh, North Carolina. So if you look at a map of North Carolina, hold on, I have one right here. So if you look at a map of North Carolina, you can see this is the mountains over here, and this is the coast over here, the Atlantic coast, and Raleigh is right smack dab in the middle. It is my favorite place to be from because this coastline is about 2 hours away from where my mom and dad were from, and then over here, where I actually went to school, is about 3 hours away, in the mountains of North Carolina. So you can kind of get all the seasons in one day if you want to, and you can get all the climates that you want to. So that's where I'm originally from. That's this picture. This is the landscape of downtown Raleigh. And you can see it's really fun. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself, my educational background. So I graduated from high school quite a few years ago, and then I went to school at Appalachian State University, which is in the mountains of North Carolina, like I said. So the picture kind of in the middle that's got a little cloudy vibe to it, that is where I went to undergrad. It was a lot of fun. There are things that people tell me I did sometimes I don't remember. And then I told my students the other day, I stretched 4 years of undergrad into 5.5, because I took kind of a winding path through college. So Appalachian was a lot of fun. I learned a lot while I was there, and I decided that I wanted to be a teacher. I knew that a long time ago. So I started teaching high school back in Raleigh, where I was from, and taught there for 5 years. And while I was teaching there, I actually went to East Carolina University and did my master's degree online. So this very lovely purple and yellow pirate that's in the middle of all the pictures, that is their mascot for East Carolina, and it is closer to the beach. So I kind of got all of the, like I said, all the climates um, spanning my educational career. So then in 2012, I decided I was ready for a change. So I moved here to Lubbock, Texas, and I started on the doctoral program in family and consumer sciences education, because I knew I wanted to teach teachers how to teach. I wanted to help kind of affect a much larger group of people. So I started here in 2012 and I was in grad school for 6.5 years. So in 2018, I actually moved to this picture where it says 1922, kind of in the sidewalk. I moved to that university to be a teacher educator in Murray, Kentucky. So it's Murray State University. I was there for 3 years. While the world kind of turned upside down. So a year and a half of the time I was in Kentucky was actually during COVID. So then when I came back here in 2021, there were people who had no idea I had left, and that I was gone for 3 years, which is a really interesting experience. So I finished my doctorate in December of 2018. So now we're going on, I graduated almost 7 years ago now. And it has been a really wonderful experience. And I know that I am right where I need to be to do the things that make me really happy now. So it's just a little about me on an educational level. Let me tell you about some fun stuff. So I really like things. I love TV shows. We grew up watching TV as a kid. I have a younger sister who you'll probably hear a lot about over the next little while, because she is still in the process of figuring out what she wants to do for a career. And this class is all about helping people figure out some of those things. So I really like TV shows like Friday Night Lights, obviously because it's about small town West Texas. And that was something I did not really understand until I moved here. I also thought tumbleweeds were just something that happened on TV until I moved here. So interesting experiences. I also love Harry Potter. And I put a picture of Bahama Bucks because I do love Bahama Bucks. I got very excited because there was one that existed in Kentucky just for a very short time while I lived there. Also because I work for Texas Tech. I graduated from Texas Tech. It is a requirement to love Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Um, I recently looked at tickets for their Thanksgiving Day game at the Cowboys, and that was a price I was not willing to pay. Also, I really hate wearing real shoes. You will see in my office, it is very summery in here most of the time because I don't like winter very much. And then you'll see this middle picture. It's a picture of a university with kind of an ivy covered building. And that is actually an opportunity that we had last summer, so summer of 2024, to go to Ireland. We went to Galway, to the University of Galway, to a conference called the International Federation of Home Economics. So that is an opportunity that you guys will get to have. Depending on how long you stay with us, or if you just want to go in a few years. In 2028, the International Federation of Home Economics Conference will actually be in New Zealand. And we are already making some plans to do some study tours and do some other things for our students so that we can learn more about how home economics works in New Zealand. Because if you don't know this, everywhere else in the world, they have not changed the name. It is home economics everywhere except for the United States and like one island in some very weird place. So we call it Family and Consumer Sciences here in the United States, but internationally we are still known as home economics. So, what I did over my summer vacation, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about all the fun I had and all the things I got to do and learn while I was actually teaching summer school as well. So, the first thing that's always at the top of my list is going to graduation. I love graduation so much. I love seeing what you guys have accomplished and getting to celebrate that with you. So graduation's first things first. My favorite thing is when they sing the Matador song. I wish they did it at the very end of graduation, but they don't anymore. They do it after they've done a few things and before they call everyone's names, but still a great time. So from there, I actually got to go to a couple of conferences. The three pictures on this slide are actually from a conference in Kansas City, the American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences conference. And it was a lot of fun and some work as well. So we got to go take a tour of the Federal Reserve and learn all the things that they do to help educate students. And then we also got to go we went to Union Station in Kansas City, which is still a functioning train station, but also has lots of really cool shops and things that you can do there. The other thing that we did, you will see the picture on the left is all my luggage from when we went to Florida for the National FCCLA, Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America Conference. We actually have a collegiate FCCLA chapter now. So if you ever participated in that during your time in school, we have a collegiate chapter now, and we are able to compete against other universities with that collegiate chapter. So this year we took three students with us to nationals in Orlando, Florida, and you can see just the sea of red jackets and just red in general. And it was so much fun to see all of those students in one place and get to experience the excitement. So that conference was the biggest it's been in a very long time, or maybe ever, with over 10,000 people in attendance. I think that's partially because it was in Orlando, but it was a lot of fun. So the other thing we did is Dr. Huey and I, on the very last day that we were in Florida, went to Universal Studios and got to see Harry Potter World, and all the other things that Universal Studios has to offer. We made sure we had a park hopper pass so that we could ride the Hogwarts Express and go in between the parks. And we just got to experience so many things. We rode some rides, ate some food, and had a really, really great adventure. So I will say, if you are, I know you guys are going to be teachers here in the next little while. FCCLA is one of those things that will help students and impact them for the rest of their lives. I know myself personally, part of the reason I do what I do is because I started in FCCLA in seventh grade. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. So I got to go, I was a state officer in North Carolina, and then I was a national officer candidate, and I got to go to Anaheim, California, and run for national office, and then do a whole lot of other things kind of in conjunction with that. And I've made a lot of lifelong friends. At a conference, I think 2 years ago, we were back in North Carolina and we had someone presenting, and they actually were on my state officer team. I hadn't seen them in 20 years, but they were on my state officer team when I was in high school. And that was just so fun to be able to see that person again. So it's just a little bit about what I did over the summer. Last things I did. You'll see this very cute dog. She does not like having her picture taken. So this is actually a stellar moment for her. Her name is Lula, and she lives at my mom and dad's house. She's technically my sister's dog, but my sister lives in New York City and really can't have a dog that big. So I went and visited my parents for a couple weeks, mostly to see the dog. And then I actually moved over the summer to a different place in Lubbock. That was a lot of work, and I'm still unpacking. So it's part of the reason there's a lot of chaos in my life right now. And then this picture, this one from the elevator in our building on Monday, because it made me laugh. They have recently changed the name of it used to be the English building to Humanities. And so we have all of these signs up that say you are in the wrong building. Okay, so let's talk about our big assignments for this class over the course of the semester. Now, we are going to change some of this up because we are doing asynchronous online, but there is still an opportunity for you guys to do some of these things. Please ignore the fact that that says 15 hours of observations. You actually are going to have to do 20 hours, but 5 of those will be virtual. So 20 hours of observations. We're going to do micro teachings related to career decision making and planning, field experience analysis. So you're going to look at the observations you've done and analyze all of the things that you learned. We're also going to do some case studies, talk about those, how we help students differently. You're also going to have a midterm where we're going to integrate work-based learning into a unit plan. So, Ariana, for you a very long time ago now wrote a unit plan in Dr. Huey's class. And Christina, I will provide you a unit plan. So you are going to take that unit plan and we're going to learn how to integrate more work-based learning opportunities into it. Then we're going to talk about programs of study related to our career pathways. And our final project is you are going to actually create a career decision-making unit where you introduce those concepts to a class. We'll talk more about that later. And then there will be some smaller assignments along the way. Field trips is not going to apply to you. I am so sorry. The students who are in my in-person class are going to be planning field trips for us. So that is all I have for right now. I hope that that gives you a little bit more of an idea of what we're going to be doing and how we're going to do it. Like I said in my email this morning, I am building this course from scratch, but not. So what I would like to do is do things that I know you guys are going to be able to use. So one of the things I really want you guys to think about is what you want to learn, and we are going to incorporate those into this class. So on that note, thank you guys for watching this video, and we will communicate more probably next week about more assignments. One thing I would like for you guys to go ahead and do, especially you, Ariana, is figure out where you can do your field experience observations. So you're going to need to find a teacher or two teachers who are willing to have you in their classroom for a total of 15 hours. So we make sure we get all of your field experience hours in. TEA, so Texas Education Agency, has recently changed the requirements for you to student teach or do a teaching internship to 50 hours instead of 30. So, Ariana, we do need to look at how many you did in Dr. Huey's class before to make sure that we get all of your hours in before you student teach in the spring. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to stop recording now and then put all of the field experience requirements up on Canvas and then get the rest of your first module done so that you guys can get started on that. All right, I hope you guys have a great day whenever you watch this, and we will talk to you soon.